We are going to be talking about big changes. There was new technology during the Civil War. People got new friends, but we also had some of the most important changes in our country's history. And I'm going to talk briefly about how the Civil War changed Fort Sumter, but also how Fort Sumter changed us as a country. Steve talked to you guys on the way out about that first battle of the Civil War. At the end of that first battle, it was an accident. The U.S. flag is coming down over Fort Sumter. U.S. soldiers are shooting off salutes to that flag. And while that's happening, there's an accident. A loose spark gets into a bag of gunpowder, it explodes, and it will cause the first 2 deaths of the Civil War. Privates Daniel Howe and Edward Galway, Irish immigrants fighting for the United States, now the first 2 deaths of the Civil War. There's going to be destruction over the course of this war. During the first battle, the Confederates damaged this fort, their barracks buildings. And then later in the war, the United States is going to strike back, get a foothold over on Morris Island, and shoot cannonballs into this fort. Remember how I said it wasn't as tall as that red line it used to be? That's why. So nowadays, we've got the ruins of this fort left for you to see. That's a change. But it might be our third change that is the most important to who we are today. If you were in this state before the Civil War, you would have been in a state where 57% of the population had no legal rights at all. A majority of this state's population are made up of enslaved workers, like people who built bricks that ended up going into this fort. If you were in that position, it would have been very unlikely that you ever got the chance to get out of it. But the Civil War is going to bring that opportunity. You're going to see some of the first black soldiers in the U.S. Army picking up guns to fight for that army, including right over on Morris Island, right over here. By the end of this war, you're going to be seeing parades in the streets of Charleston that are going to signal the end of the system of slavery in this city, and eventually the country as a whole. So at the end of this war, when this flag goes back up, 4 years to the day after it came down, April 14th, 1861 to April 14th, 1865, people come back for a big ceremony, kind of like what you're seeing today, except there's a little more pomp and circumstance, a band, more speakers. They would have been seeing 2 big things. They would have been seeing the same flag go up at the end of the war as came down at the beginning, the very same fabric, saying that this is still the same country that we fought for at the beginning of the war. But people are also seeing these changes. They're seeing the place where the first death of the Civil War happened. They're seeing the walls that have been torn down by this Civil War. But they're also seeing alongside them thousands of people from downtown Charleston, many of whom will be celebrating a flag raising for their first time as free people.